Hey, what's up, guys? CB from CJB Studios here, and today is my second Q&A on my channel. It's been quite a while since I've made the first one, and I'm actually really excited to be doing another one of these. And I've gotten a lot of questions for this one, and well, I'm really looking forward to it. Now, before we get started, for those of you who were able to participate in the first one, thank you guys very much. I will be listing out your channel names as to when I got each question in the description of this video. Your names will be highlighted in blue with the @ sign, so for those of you who might be watching this when it's uploaded, expect to see your name highlighted in blue. And if you're not able to see it when your name is mentioned, that's okay. I'll just be patient for whenever you guys will respond to it, for those of you who haven't yet had a chance to see it yet. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, so let's get into it. Kicking things off, Priya Saul asks, have you ever heard of a guy named Rob Gavigan? You can check him out if you like. He makes really good videos about true crime and many interesting topics. Well, strange topics. Sorry if I butchered that question. I actually have not heard of Rob Gavigan. Gavigan. I don't know why I said Gavigan. Sorry. I've never actually heard of him until you brought this up. So, I mean, I might check him out if I feel like it. I mean, I'm not really a fan of true crime, as well mentioned in the first Q&A, but I might check him out if I have a chance. So, I hope that answers your question for you. Okay. Up next, Classy Sonic's Adventures, originally known as Classic Sonic's Adventures, asks, what is your favorite Illumination movie? I'll be honest with you, dude, I don't really have a favorite movie from Illumination Entertainment. I mean, I have seen almost every Despicable Me movie, with the exception of The Rise of Gru being the most recent outing of the franchise, but outside of that, the only other movies I've seen from them was The Lorax, although I actually fell asleep through The Lorax, and the first Secret Life of Pets movie. Other than that, I just don't have a favorite. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't think Illumination Entertainment's, I don't think they're terrible or anything. I think their movies are okay. It's just, they're just not my favorite when it comes to animation. Personally, I think Pixar is my favorite animation studio when it comes to movies, even the weakest ones. All right, moving on. Kanye West Rolls 2007 asks, what's your opinion on my group, Sally Cantrance? I've never actually had a chance to check out that group, even when I got this question, so I don't really know what to think of it. I mean, I will get a chance to check it out if I ever feel like it, and well, if I do, then I'll let you know what I think of it. So, yeah, I hope you understand. Kanye West Rolls. Yeah, I'll just call you Kanye West Rolls for short. I don't want to, I don't want to keep this video going on for as long as it is. Anyways, Dodo Food Fight 1237 asks, what do you think of the Peanuts? You know, Charlie Brown, Lucy, Linus, those guys. I think they're alright. I mean, I've never read any of the Peanuts comic strips, but I have seen a few of the holiday specials they've done. In fact, I actually do have a DVD box set containing 3 of them, being It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, and a Charlie Brown Christmas. And I think I think they're actually pretty enjoyable. I mean, they're not my cup of tea when it comes to, animation and stuff like that, or even comic strips. Again, I don't read comics, but I think they're okay. All right. Speaking of comics, with one of the questions being sort of related to that, up next is Lisette Garcia, who has 3 questions. 1. Which comic book universe do you prefer and know more, Marvel or DC? 2. Which Looney Tunes characters are your favorite? Mine are Pepe Le Pew, Penelope Pussycat, Tweety Bird, Speedy Gonzales, Bugs Bunny, Lola Bunny, Marvin the Martian, and Wile E. Coyote. 3. If you can time travel to meet your favorite celebrities, whether they are alive or dead, who would they be? I would time travel to meet the Beatles. Then I would time travel to meet Queen. I would time travel to meet Muhammad Ali, and finally meet Nirvana. Okay, first question: which comic book universe would I prefer and know more? Well, I already stated this to Dodo Food Fight when asking about the Peanuts. Um, Comic wise, I'm not really a comic book kind of guy because I've never read comics. But in the case of the entertainment industry, I don't really prefer Marvel or DC. Like, I don't prefer one over the other. I think they're both, you know, fine with what they've got, even if they have flaws. Like, for Marvel, there's the MCU, which, from what I've heard as of now, has sort of become more of a joke lately. And for DC, as of recently, there's the Batman, the one that Matt Reeves directed and written that Robert Pattinson was in. And I gotta say, I loved it. Going back to Marvel with the MCU, I really loved Spider-Man: No Way Home, and I have yet to see Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness and Thor: Love and Thunder, which I think just came out in Disney Plus yesterday. But simply put, I don't prefer one over the other. I think they're both fine for what they are. As for one I would like to know more of, I honestly don't know. Again, I think they're both fine with what they are, even if they have their own flaws. I mean, what doesn't have flaws, right? Right. The next question: who is my favorite Looney Tunes character? I I don't actually have a favorite Looney Tunes character. I really don't have a favorite. Like, not even Daffy Duck stood out as one of my favorites. I mean, I grew up watching Looney Tunes, of course, but again, none of the characters stood out to me as favorites. Not even the Tasmanian Devil. Like, not even he stood out as being one of my favorites. So, yeah, I just don't have a favorite. Like I said, I'm sorry. But I do think Looney Tunes is pretty enjoyable regardless. And the last question you asked me if I could travel back in time to meet a celebrity, no matter if they were alive or dead, who would they be? Well, in the case of celebrities who are still alive right now, even if I did travel back in time or not, uh, one of them is actually George Lucas. I mean, come on. I loved George Lucas. He was one of my idols growing up. He was the guy behind Star Wars, and he was also a producer on Indiana Jones, and of course, he was the founder of THX, which, as you can clearly see, I have the THX Eat Note poster on my wall behind me over there. So yeah, George Lucas is one living celebrity that I would really love to meet, even if I did travel back in time or not. Um, I don't know if sound designers count as celebrities, but one of those sound designers I would love to meet is Gary Rydstrom. He was another guy I'd idolize. He's still alive right now. He worked on a lot of movies I watched growing up, like Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo. Um, and he also worked on a couple films that I became a fan of, like Terminator, like more specifically Terminator 2. Um, he's another guy I'd love. In fact, I'd love to go to Skywalker Sound one day, and not just meet Gary Rydstrom, but meet a lot of other people who work there as well. If we're talking actors and actresses as celebrities, in the case of actors being male, um, Michael J. Fox is one of them. Because he was the voice of Stuart Little. In fact, Stuart Little was how I first heard of Michael J. Fox in the first place. And of course, he was also Marty McFly in Back to the Future. And there's also Tom Hanks and Tim Allen. Of course, they were both in Toy Story, but um, if I ever met Tom Hanks, I'd love to interview him someday. Not just because he was in Toy Story, but he was also in a couple other movies I love. I grew up with, like The Polar Express, which is my number one favorite Christmas movie. And I actually recently saw him in Castaway and The Green Mile, and I thought he was really good in those two. And of course, there's Tim Allen, who of course is the voice of Buzz Lightyear. And as mentioned in the first Q&A, I love Buzz Lightyear. And of course, I dressed up as Buzz Lightyear. And actually, I didn't mention this in the first Q&A, but prior to Buzz Lightyear, I actually dressed up as Woody as well. Um, but yeah, As for actresses being female, two of them are one and the same, given that, they work, and by one and the same, I mean they both worked on two shows together, and by that I mean voice acting in them. They are Nika Futterman and Catherine Tabor. With Nika Futterman, of course, voicing Luna Loud in The Loud House, and Asajj Ventress in Star Wars The Clone Wars, the CGI one from 2008 to 2020 that Dave Filoni did alongside George Lucas, and Catherine Tabor, who's the voice of Padme Amidala in the CGI series, as well as voicing Lori Loud in The Loud House. I mean, if I ever got a chance to actually talk to Nika Futterman with her doing Luna's voice, I would be having a lot of fun with her, asking, how she got into rock music, all that kind of stuff. And if I interviewed Catherine Tabor doing Lori's voice, you know, one of the questions I'd always ask her is, why do you keep saying literally all the time? Because I literally want to know why. Another actress from The Loud House I'd love to actually meet. Actually, two more of them. I could go on, but I don't want to keep this dragging out because I still have the other half of the question to answer. Uh, Two other actresses from The Loud House I'd love to meet would be Christina Pucelli, the voice of Luann, and Liliana Mummy, the voice of Lenny. Christina Pucelli, of course, well, given that she's Luann's voice, she's the voice of Luann. If I ever interviewed her doing Luann's voice, you know, we would be cracking up jokes nonstop. It would be one of the punniest moments of my life. I know, it's not a good joke, but I couldn't resist it. Um, and as for Liliana Mummy being the voice of Lenny, I actually grew up with her in a few other shows and movies, such as the voice of Myrtle from Lilo and Stitch, as well as Twinkle from Higgly Down Heroes. That was one show I remember watching as a kid, and I didn't even know that was Liliana Mummy. And of course, she also plays Lucy in the Santa Claus trilogy, which, funnily enough, Tim Allen was in that as well. All right, all right. As for celebrities who are no longer with us, this is going to sound a bit controversial, but one of them would be Robin Williams. I know, controversial, like I said, but come on. He was such a great actor. He was so funny. I mean, I know. He did a lot of messed up things in his life. Same with Kurt Cobain. And yeah, if I ever met Kurt Cobain, I don't know what I would think about that guy. Again, they both did messed up things. We can't deny that. But if I ever met Robin Williams, it would have been a lot of fun because, again, if you ignore the messed up things he's done, you can get past that. Because, again, he was such a great actor. He was funny. He was comedic. He was hilarious. Like, even in Jumanji, the 1995 one, there were a lot of funny moments in it. Like, when he was stuck in the quicksand and the spiders came off, he was like, "What's that?" And Sarah's like, "Nothing," and he's like, "You don't got one for nothing." I'm sorry, I can't get enough of that. That was pretty funny. But yes, Robin Williams would be one celebrity who is no longer with us that I would have loved to meet. May he rest in peace. Okay, I dragged on these questions for a little too long. I'm really sorry for that, but I have to move on. Up next, Dragon Girl 2000, who has 5 questions. Do you play video games? Being the first question. Second question, do you have a pet? Third question, have you seen Scooby Doo and who is your favorite character? 4, have you watched any horror movies or normal movies? And 5, what is your favorite holiday? Okay, I don't want to drag this on for far too long, but have I played video games? Do I play video games? Yes and no. I already mentioned this in the first Q&A, but um I I don't play video games that often, but for ones that I do play, um the only ones I have played are on the Wii console and mobile. For Wii, it's, well, Mario Kart Wii and Wii Sports Resort. Well, no, Wii Sports and its sequel, Wii Sports Resort. I'm actually pretty good at those. I even made a question video asking about if anyone's played Mario Kart Wii. Go check that out if you're interested. And for mobile games, I've played I play Minecraft Pocket Edition and Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. Um, Actually, now that I say that, the first video game I actually did try playing was actually the Stuart Little 2 video game, and it was actually on the PS2. Yes, it's true. The first game that I tried to play was Stuart Little 2 for the PS2. I'm not kidding. I actually did try to play that, and honestly, it wasn't that easy. Um, okay, next question. Do you have a pet? Yes, I do. In fact, I have 5 cats. One of which belongs to my sister, which I actually did make a little video about last week in honor of celebrating his first birthday, which as of right now is doing pretty well, honestly. A lot of people seem to really love my sister's cat. Another cat that we've owned for 12 years, so that's 2 cats on my side of the family, and the other 3 cats are on my grandparents' side of the family. Simply put, our family has been more of, a cat owning family, because we've owned a lot of cats throughout the years. So, yes, I do have a pet. 5 pet cats to be specific as of now. Okay, have I seen Scooby Doo, and who is my favorite character? Yes, I have seen Scooby Doo, but similar to how I answered with Set Garcia's question about who my favorite Looney Tunes character is, I do not have a favorite Scooby Doo character. I'm sorry, I just don't have a favorite. I mean, I do enjoy Scooby Doo, I just don't really watch it as much. And again, none of the characters really stood out to me as favorites. I'm sorry, but I still enjoy them. All right, fourth question. Have you seen any horror or normal movies? I am not really a fan of horror movies. I mean, I do love suspense, don't get me wrong, but horror movies, like, um, I'm not really a fan of those, honestly. I mean, I can handle a little bit of unsettling images, like, gore and violence, but if it's too much gore, yeah, that's a little unsettling. That being said, the only horror movies I did see, um, I guess Scooby Doo, Monsters Unleashed, sort of counts as a horror movie, although that's more of a comedic horror movie, more often than not. I've seen a little bit of Halloween and a little bit of Friday the 13th, and I've also, if we're talking actual horror movies, I know Halloween and Friday the 13th count, sorry. Um, if we're talking horror movies, that try to be scary, one of them was The Conjuring. I've seen a little bit of it as well as its sequel, and honestly, I'm not really a fan of them. In fact, I even made my own horror movie, a comedy horror movie to be specific, and it's a parody of Frankenstein, the James Whale version. And let me tell you, it is so cheesy, it's so laughably stupid, I'll just say. Because it was my first attempt at making a horror movie. And if you guys are going to ask me if I'm going to upload it, no, I will not. Because there's copyrighted music in it. Okay, I know I'm getting off topic, but no, I'm not really a fan of horror movies. Normal movies though, that depends on the genre. Like, there's fantasy, like, in the case of Star Wars, it's fantasy. In the case of adventure, there's stuff like Indiana Jones or National Treasure. If it's science fiction, I guess Star Wars sort of counts as that, even though, again, it's more of a fantasy thing. And there's Terminator, there's THX 1138. Um, hmm. And there's also family friendly movies, because, I'm more of a family friendly kind of guy when it comes to movies and even TV shows, more often than not. Like, there's Toy Story, there's, I guess the Loud House movie, that kind of stuff. There's also, let me think. There's like so many that list. I don't really feel like I'm gonna go through it all because I'm making this video even longer than it is. So, yes, I have seen a little bit of horror movies. Not really a fan of horror. Normal movies, it depends. Simple as that. I'm sorry. And for the last question, what is my favorite holiday? Funny you asked me that because I actually made a question video 1 month ago with that exact question, asking everybody else that exact question. I know I said it twice, but to answer your question about it, even though I already gave it away in my question video, asking the question in and of itself, here are my favorite holidays: Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, April Fool's Day, Easter, Star Wars Day, Independence Day, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Those are my favorite holidays. If you want to check that video out, go to my channel and look for a question video with that exact name. Alright, now that I got that off of my chest, moving swiftly onward. I don't know why I did that voice. Alright, Mario Fan 92 asks, which of my Calamity Box adventure scenes is your favorite? I have not actually seen your Calamity Box adventures thing. That being said, I have seen my name being mentioned in a shout out for it, but I never actually had a chance to check it out. So I don't know which is my favorite, like I said, but if I do get a chance to check it out, then I'll let you know. You know, I've just noticed that apparently some of these questions, there seems to be a pattern with some of these. I just noticed that. But I'm digressing. Moving on. Nicholas Baker asks, what's your opinion on My Little Pony? Oh, jeez. My Little Pony. Hate to break it to you, man, but I've never watched My Little Pony at all. Mostly because it's not really my target demographic. Because I'm a boy. And My Little Pony is for girls. Am I a girl? No, I'm not. But if I had to state my opinion on it, even if I did actually watch it, I think My Little Pony's fine. That's it. That's all I can say, if I had to state my opinion on it. Alright, up next, the Lion Queen, who has 3 questions, and 2 of which are sort of one and the same. They are, 1, what are your plans for the future? 2, what will the future be for this channel? And 3, ever planned to do creepypasta narrations? Since these first 2 questions are one and the same, like I said, I don't really know what my plans for the future are. In the case of real life, I'm sort of trying to get a job. Like, I'm sort of trying to get into graphic design. Originally, I was going to be in the vending machine industry, and that didn't go so well. So, it's more of a graphic design thing, I guess. As for what the future of this channel is going to be, I don't really know. I mean, you know, it's kind of hard. You know what I mean? I'll probably just upload, you know, just random videos, like maybe more question videos and that kind of stuff. Just, you know, upload videos whenever I feel like it. And for the last question, do I ever plan to do creepypasta narrations? The answer is, for right now, the answer is no. And one of the reasons is because, well, modern creepypastas are not really appropriate, and they're not even that great. You know, they're not special anymore, from what I've heard. And again, they're not really appropriate either. And I kind of already said this in the first Q&A, when Lizette asked me a question about which creepypastas became cliched, and I hate to bring it up in here, but, I was going to do a video talking about why I'm not into creepypastas, but after talking to my brother about it a little while ago, let me see. Basically, I'd be contradicting myself, because I have been reading a few creepypastas, and if I were to narrate them, it wouldn't seem right. Now, hear me out. I mean, if I ever read something like, say, any of my Loud House stories, which, on that topic, I still need help with my sequel to Lucy Loves Halloween. If there's anyone out there watching this right now that is good with poetry, please help me out with it. I'd appreciate that. Anyways, back to this topic about that question, if I will ever do creepypasta narrations. Like I said, the answer is no. Again, for one thing, modern creepypastas are not really appropriate, and again, they're not really that special anymore. And if I were to read any creepypastas, no matter if they were, classics like the Toy Story 3 alternate ending, or the Amazing World of Gumball the Grieving, or whatever, or even modern creepypastas, I just don't see that fit for my channel. I just don't think reading creepypastas would, work for me. Even if it meant reading my own Loud House stuff. I mean, I'm sorry. I just won't do it. I just won't do creepypasta narrations. I just don't think it would be appropriate for my channel. Cause again, it just wouldn't work for me. I'm sorry. And yeah. I don't know if that's a good answer to the last question, but I hope you understand, Lion Queen. I really hope you understand. Okay. Moving on. Alec the Video Maker says, so, what is your favorite of the 3 SpongeBob movies? Which one do you find better? Hate to break it to you, Alec, but I've only seen the first SpongeBob SquarePants movie, and I haven't seen the other 2. So, again, I don't know what my favorite is. Are you guys noticing a pattern with some of these questions here? Because I certainly am. Apparently there's a pattern here. What's going on? But simply put, yes. I've only seen the first SpongeBob SquarePants movie. I haven't seen the other 2, so I don't know how to answer that question completely. So, I'm sorry. Alright. These last couple of questions are from Kaylin the White Werewolf, and oh boy, she sure has a lot of them. So, I'm going to be reading them as best I can, and I'm going to try to answer them as best I can. Alright, her first question. What's your opinion on Disney movie sequels in general, and Don Bluth sequels? Oh boy, so many sequels. Okay, but seriously, what's my opinion on them? Starting off with Don Bluth, I have not seen any of his movies aside from one of the Land Before Time movies and a little bit of All Dogs Go to Heaven and Anastasia. So, I can't really answer that question, Caitlin. I'm sorry. As for movie sequels in general, that really depends. That depends on what we're talking about. Because more often than not, sequels normally don't do so well. As everyone says, sequels normally don't go so well. Not with movie sequels, but Don Bluth and Disney sequels too. So that depends. If I had to think of good examples, though, I think one good example would be Toy Story, because in my opinion, I think each Toy Story movie has gotten, sort of better as time went by, not as in terms of animation, but in the case of the story. Again, that's my opinion, and I guess Toy Story sort of falls into the Disney sequels category. I mean, that's Pixar, but still, that sort of falls into that, as well as movie sequels in general, so yes. If we're talking a movie sequel in general that is not a Disney movie, I'd say it's Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Everybody says that Terminator 2 Judgment Day is the best of the franchise. You know, as well as, the first one. So that's one good example. But other than that, I can't really think of other ones. Alright. Her next question is, have you seen Scooby-Doo Zombie Island? And have you seen The Courage, the Cowardly Dog, and Scooby-Doo crossover movie known as Courage and Scooby-Doo Out of Nowhere Yet? Yes, I have seen Scooby-Doo, but no, I have not seen Scooby-Doo Zombie Island, and no, I have not seen The Courage, the Cowardly Dog, and Scooby-Doo crossover. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. Alright, these next, is it 5 questions? I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's 5. These next 5 questions are also from Caitlin, and they are in order. Which characters in My Little Pony are your favorite? As the first one, who's your favorite characters from All Dogs Go to Heaven and The Land Before Time movie series? What movies do you like? What is your favorite shows you like best? And what's your favorite novel? Okay, I already said this to Nicholas, so given that I'm not really a fan of My Little Pony, and to be fair, I don't have a favorite character. So, I can't answer that. I'm sorry, Caitlin. who's your favorite character from All Dogs Go to Heaven and the Land Before Time series? Again, I've only seen All Dogs Go to Heaven once. Um, oh shoot, you know what? I actually forgot to mention this. Another Don Bluth movie I did see was actually Rockadoodle. I forgot to mention that. Shoot, why didn't I think of that? Anyways, back to who my favorite characters in Land Before Time and uh, All Dogs Go to Heaven. I again only seen All Dogs Go to Heaven once and one of the Land Before Time movies once. So I do not have a favorite character from the series, both both franchises. I'm sorry. Um, okay, what movies do you like? That really depends. There's like way too many movies. There's like so many movies I would like out there, and I kind of already said this to Dragon Girl when it came to if I watch normal movies. So yeah, that really depends. But to list a couple, the Star Wars franchise is one, Toy Story is another one, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, Stuart Little. Um, oh boy, there's just way too many to count. It really depends. So I don't really know how to answer that question either. Okay, what's your favorite TV show that you like? Um, well, again, that also depends. And I kind of mentioned this in the first Q&A when it came to one of Dodo Food Fights questions, but there are a few shows I like, such as The Loud House, even though I don't watch that show that much anymore. And believe me, I want to get back into watching that show, but I just can't do it. I can't. But The Loud House is one show that I like, even if I don't watch it as much anymore. I still like it regardless. Um, The Amazing World of Gumball is another one. Phineas and Ferb, Gravity Falls, Teen Titans Go. Yes, I actually did like Teen Titans Go. For those of you who don't like it, please don't hate me. Again, there's too many to count, and I don't really feel like making a list of them because, again, this would make the video even longer than it is. In fact, it's way long as of now. I'm not even looking at the duration yet. So after breaking the fourth wall. But again, it depends on movies and shows. And same for this last question, what's my favorite novel? I... man, again with the favorites. How many favorites are you guys gonna ask me? In all seriousness though, I don't have a favorite series of novels. Actually, wait, scratch that, I do. I mentioned this before in the first Q&A. One of my favorite novel series is actually a series of unfortunate events, and the other one is Percy Jackson and the Olympians, by Rick Riordan. I already mentioned that before in the first Q&A, but I'm gonna have to mention it again. Other than that, I can't think of anything else that are my favorites, and I don't really read books that much either. So, yeah. Oh boy. So many questions, so many favorites in the questions. That was a lot. So, that was today's Q&A. I am really, really sorry this video is way too long than it is. I was not intending it to go this way, but oh man. I'm really sorry, folks. I'm so sorry I had to drag on this video for longer than it is, and I was not intending it to do it this way. But again, just so many questions, and I was really obligated to answer all of them, and I really tried my best at it. So, yeah. I hope you guys really enjoyed this Q&A. Once again, I'm so sorry I dragged it on. That was not intentional. But, again, despite that, I know... I am really not good at doing this, guys. But, with all that out of the way, sorry for all the rambling, but thank you guys very much for participating in this Q&A. Again, way too many questions, not enough time to answer it because I didn't want to drag this on for as long as it is, and again, I am so sorry, but yeah. Again, thank you guys so much for participating in it. Your names will be listed in the description below. If you guys want me to do more Q&As, I'd be happy to do it. Hopefully, I will make a deadline where I don't have to extend it, and hopefully I won't get so many questions. Again, I really enjoyed doing this, but come on. How many favorites and questions are you guys gonna keep asking me? I'm actually serious. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but still. Um, man. I am such a rambler in these. Anyways, for the last time, again, thank you so much for participating. Your names will be listed in the description once this video is uploaded. I really appreciated getting a lot of questions. And again, I am so sorry for dragging it on for as long as it is. Hopefully if I do a Q&A number 3, I don't know why I said 3 like that. Hopefully if I do a third one, I won't make it longer than this one, let alone as long as the first one was. Anyways, how many times am I going to keep saying it in this video? I mean, what else can I say about it? Oh wait, I know. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Once again, if you guys wanted me to do another Q&A, I'd be happy to do it. Hopefully it won't be as long as this one, and once again, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you're not able to get a chance to see this video once it's uploaded, even if your name is mentioned in the description, that's completely fine. But again, I really appreciated it. See you guys later, everyone. I really need a break.